The hair tube builder allows you to build a geometry tube from a curve. Unlike the current curves-to-proxy tools, the hair tube builder focuses on individual strand, providing enhanced control for generating hair proxies for animation, or creating geometry-based hair for 2D styles characters. Prepare your curve in any way you like. Here, I am using the Draw and the Sculpt tool to create our first curve. Open up the hair tube builder. With a curve selected, create our first tube by clicking on the Create layer. With the curve selected, open the strand editor. The top viewport displays the tube strand's profile curves. It's basically a reflection of a Maya curve placed in the origin. In this viewport, you can adjust the shape of your root or tip curves. Going into vertex mode, simply select a vertex and move them. You can see the tube strand will update as well. You can adjust the tip shape individually by selecting the Tip option box. The strand now blends in between the root and the tip profile curves. You can also display both root and the tip curve together. To save some time, there are some presets are added to this tool. Click on the Presets button to choose a starting shape. At the bottom, we can choose to use a custom-defined shape. To do this, I am going to use the Oval A Presets root curve. Locate the Oval A's root curve, and simply duplicate it and move it out from its current group. I am renaming it just for organization purpose. Then, adjust the shape. Make sure to keep this curve at the origin of the scene. Do not rotate it. You can export this curve out and save it for future use if you want. Now, select the strand curve to make sure our strand editor is displaying the desired tube strand. Select the custom profile curve we just created. Go to Presets and choose Custom Selected. The tube strand will update its shape. You can see both the root and the tip curves are now updated to our custom shape as well. To add more edge loops to a tube, make sure the root curve is displayed. Then, in the viewport, hold down right mouse button and select Curve Points. Click or shift-click on the curve, and then click on the Add Points button. This will be converted to new edge loops. You only need to do it on the root profile curve. The tip profile curve will have the same points added. The Path Curve CV slider allows you to change the CV counts on your main strand curve. Sometimes, it's better to start with lower CV counts and increase as needed. You still have the option to adjust the subdivision level, overall scale, scaling in the X and the Z direction, as well as a scale ramp. You can click on the arrow button to pop out the ramp window for more precise control. The Lock Curve Length Influence checkbox. When disabled, you can define a percentage of the tube to follow along the strand curve. When it's enabled, the tube strand will take in the full length of the curve. Like our curve-to-proxy tools, you can control the rotation and twist of the tube. Click on the R button. The ramp can be reset back to default. Let's take a look at the crease controls. When a hair tube is extracted without creasing, you will have very smooth geometry if you go into the subdivision mode. To add creases to our tubes, in the strand editor, go to the bottom and enable crease geometry. Edges are now being creased based on the CV numbers assigned. If you pick another shape, you can see the tube is being creased based on the CV numbers as well. Now, with crease enabled, when you extract the tube geometry and go into the subdivision mode, the tube will be creased. When you add points to the tube, however, the crease order will be changed. After adding more curve points, you can see the crease edges are now in a different spot than before. To address this issue, go to the root curve display, select the vertex points you want to crease, and then click on the Set button. There is one thing to note for the root, tip curve display. When both is toggled, sometimes the root and tip curves can be right on top of each other. If you want to manipulate both curves, go to Object Mode, make a marquee selection on both curves, and then go into Vertex Mode. Now you can select the vertex for both the root and the tip curves. To add more points to existing creases, simply select the points and then click on the Add button. Make sure you are on the root curve display. Clicking on the Clear button will remove all creasing. Toggling the aim curve allows you to further refine the orientation of the tube. The aim curve is displayed in white. It's a standard Maya curve. Adjusting the aim curve offset will change the direction of your tube is facing. In most cases, you will not need to worry about the aim curve at all. However, for more complicated curves, especially the one with sharp twists and curls, you may want to manually adjust the aim curve to give it a better shape. You can do so by adjusting the offset distance first, and then manually move the CVs on the aim curve until you get the desired result. You can also use the Custom Normal option to define the aim curve's global position relative to the strand curve. By changing the X, Y, and Z position, you can see the aim curve shifts. Next, we will discuss how to duplicate, copy, paste, and remove a tube strand properly. To copy and paste a tube strand, simply click on the Copy button on the main UI. Select another strand, and click on the Paste button. With a straight copy and paste, you can see the shape is copied over, but it's facing a different direction. To solve this issue, right-click on the Duplicate button, and select Mirror over X. With mirroring, you can see the shape is now facing the same direction. Let's look at another feature for copy and paste. Let's say you adjusted a tube shape and its overall settings. Then, you wish to copy the settings to the other tubes, but does not want to change the shape of other tubes. Select the strand and click on Copy. Then, select the other strands. Right-click on Paste button and select Paste Only Attributes. The tubes will now share the same settings, but keeping their original shape. For better display of curve strand, you can click on the Toggle Curves button. This will give you the curve highlight over your tube geometry. Clicking on the Duplicate button will make a copy of the strand. Manipulating a curved strand by moving CVs can be tedious. With Groomer's tool, you will be able to use the Curve Sculpting tool to help in this process. You will still be able to smooth the curve as you go, with the tube geometry displayed in the viewport with live feedback. With this functionality, you will be able to quickly create geometry hairs either for animation proxies or 2D style characters. If you wish to delete a tube strand, do not use the Delete key on your keyboard. It will cause an error. Please use the Delete button on the main UI to remove a strand instead. Recalibrating a tube strand is required if you have the lock length disabled, and the curve length is changed. Let's say we set the length of the tube to 50% of the curve, and then we sculpt the curve, causing the curve length to change. You can see now the tube length is not 50% of the strand curve anymore. To fix that, simply click on the Recalibrate All Curve button. Thank you for watching. I hope you will enjoy this tool.